رسوله الكريم أما بعد. We're all students, and a great deal of our lives are dedicated to learning. Just like many of the subjects that we are studying are coming from very sound sources, the teachings themselves are coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, coming from His Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Just like the teachings have come from a very high source, the manner of learning has also been demonstrated to us, and it is a part of our teachings. Sahaba radiallahu anhum had the chance to be with the best of teachers. And when they sat in the company of the Prophet ﷺ, they demonstrated to us what a student should look like and act like. The hadith mentions that when the Prophet ﷺ would speak, they would sit so still, كَأَنَّمَا عَلَى رُؤُوسِهِمُ الطَّيْرِ. They would sit so still as if birds were perched on top of their heads. How if a bird were to come and sit on your head, how you would sit so still. Like this, their posture demonstrated how attentive they were. Somebody who's moving around is obviously distracted and they're not paying that much attention, as opposed to someone whose posture is demonstrating attention. Now what happens with us is everyone has those days where they might not necessarily feel like studying, they don't feel like learning, or they don't feel like being in that class. Happens to everyone. But our posture and the way we're sitting in front of our teacher should still demonstrate that we are here to learn, because that's why we're here. And sometimes you can use your body to convey a message to your brain. The brain might not be there. But if you act like someone who is really serious about studying, your brain will also follow. So sometimes the mind is not there, but you can use your body, you can use your posture to convey this message to your mind that no, you're actually learning, you're actually very serious, even if you aren't at the time. And you'll see what a wonder that does. So sometimes the physical posture, appearance, presentation is extremely important. What normally happens is when we don't feel like studying or we don't feel like being in a class, our body language is saying it. The way we're sitting, we might be slouching, we might be looking here and there, we might be tilting back and forth on our chairs, or someone might just put their head down, someone might, prop their head up against their hand. All of this body language is saying, I don't want to learn. Even if we do want to learn and we sit like that, position ourselves like that, our mind is going to get the message that no, we're not really here to learn. So even the most attentive student will lose attention by sitting in a lazy posture. And even the laziest student, or the most unmotivated student, will become motivated and will become attentive just by playing the part with their body. So the body language is extremely, extremely important. Sahaba radiallahu anhum used to sit very, very attentively. And of course it wasn't just their body language, they were picking up every word that the Prophet ﷺ was saying. They were clinging on to every single word. That's how they were able to transmit thousands of ahadith. Thousands. So you have a sahabi, for example, who has committed more than 7,000 ahadith to his memory. Other sahaba, like Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu, he used to write everything down. Everything. In fact, some people came to him and said, you write everything the Prophet ﷺ says, what if he's upset at someone? So he said, I'll go and verify this with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he said, O Prophet of Allah, I have a habit of writing down everything that you say, but some people have said that, look, be selective, don't write everything down. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam pointed towards his mouth and he says, I swear by Allah, la yakhruju minhu illa al-haq. Only the truth comes from here. So you go on and keep writing. Some Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they would take something from Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and then go back and verify it, that this is what I have memorized, is this correct or not? And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would correct them. Like in the case of Bara ibn Azib radiallahu anhu, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught him a hadith, taught him a dua to recite before he goes to sleep. So then Bara radiallahu anhu repeated that dua, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam corrected him that no, it's not like this, it's like this. So becoming an attentive listener it takes work, it takes effort, but it's the first major step in becoming a good learner. If we don't practice good listening skills, and we don't use the body language that a good listener would, then we're sitting there, we're putting in the time, the class is going on, but we're only absorbing a very small percentage of what we actually could. You could maybe come out of that class with this much, but because the body language wasn't there, the posture wasn't there, the mind also started drifting and wandering, and you came back with maybe only this much, maybe only 10% or less of what was actually delivered in that class. So this is one of the etiquettes that we learn from the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, sitting attentively and let your body language show that you are prepared and ready and eager to learn, even if you aren't at that time. Your mood isn't always in your control. And there are many times, it happens with every student, you just don't feel like studying at that time. You just don't feel like being in that class. Maybe it's the subject, maybe it's the day you're having, could be whatever. But use your body language to display someone who is an active learner, and inshallah through this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will change your mindset and you will become a much more efficient learner. This is one of the crucial steps. If we're missing this step, then we're missing out on a big part of what we can actually take away from every single day of learning. May Allah give us tawfiq. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa